This is the new Discovery. Land Rover has given its 7-seat SUV a nip and a tuck to see it through the next few years, and while some of the changes are obvious, some of them are a bit harder to spot. So let's take a look at what's new. Starting at the front, and a quick glance at the side-by-side image with the old one makes it tricky to see any difference, and even after a long look it doesn't get much easier, so the changes certainly are subtle. Take the headlights, where the old LED daytime running design was broken up into little bits. The new units run in one long sweep through the cluster. Hardly a revolution, but it does look a bit neater. On the new R-Dynamic trim shown here, the front bumper gets extra strakes and no side vents, and the splitter is painted to match the main body colour. Around the back, the Discovery's offset number plate stays, so it still looks like it's cringing about that one time it got itself into a really awkward social situation at a party. The number plate surround is now finished in gloss black, and it incorporates the Discovery lettering into it, which does tidy things up a little. There's more gloss black on the bumper too, and the taillight graphics have been tweaked. The neatness continues inside the latest Discovery, where a new display for Land Rover's Pivi Pro infotainment system fits perfectly into the confines of the existing vertical dashboard design. The 11.4-inch screen looks much tidier than the old model, which never quite sat flush in the same space. The new system is quicker than the previous setup, and the twin SIM configuration means that it can perform over-the-air updates without any slowdown. A revised user interface means that many functions take just half the number of keystrokes as they did before. Below that screen sits a revised air conditioning layout. That looks smart too, and it gets a pair of big chunky rotary dials that can still be used when wearing gloves, much better than messing about with a touchscreen. The Discovery now gets a steering wheel that's been lifted from the latest Defender, but we think it's a shame that the gear selector won't rise out of the dash like a joystick in a sci-fi movie anymore. Instead, there's just a dreary looking lever. Under the bonnet, the new Discovery gets a choice of 3 6-cylinder engines, all of which come with mild hybrid tech. A 48-volt system saves fuel by harvesting energy from coasting to charge a battery. This allows some more off-time for the start-stop system, but also powers a small electric motor that reduces load on the combustion engine. It's fitted to a 3-litre petrol called the P360 that makes 355 brake horsepower and 500 Nm of torque, and a pair of diesels too. The D250 makes 246 brake horsepower and 570 Nm of torque, and the D300 makes 296 brake horsepower and 650 Nm. The range kicks off with the P300, a 4-cylinder petrol with 296 brake horsepower and 400 Nm that's basically carried over from the outgoing car. These engines play a part in the Discovery's class-leading towing capacity of 3.5 tonnes. Towing is easier than ever thanks to a tow assist system, which lets you steer the car through the touchscreen for the most realistic caravan simulator ever. As before, the Discovery gets 7 seats, but there's more comfort all round. The second row gets longer seat bases to improve under-thigh support, while the bolstering around the sides has been adjusted, which Land Rover says will help improve posture. The Discovery offers up to 5 ISOFIX points for child seats, and if you fold all of those seats down, there's a huge 2,485 litre boot volume. There's also 41.8 litres of cubby spaces, so be prepared to put trinkets in the car that you'll never see again. Now, this wouldn't be a Land Rover unless we talked about what it could do off-road. And as before, the Discovery will be able to plug through mud better than any 2-tonne 7-seat brute has any right to do. As well as all of the usual clever off-road modes, there's now a wading mode, which jacks the air suspension up to its off-road height and adjusts the throttle response to suit. It even gently nips the brakes once back on dry land, so that there's the right amount of stopping power when it's next needed. The Discovery also benefits from some of the tech seen on other Land Rovers already, including the 360-degree camera and the ClearSight ground view system, which can effectively let the driver look through the bonnet to see any obstacles immediately ahead. Sustainability is becoming a bigger part of Land Rover's conscience each year, so for the first time in a Disco, it's possible to get the seats covered in a sustainable non-leather trim, but you still can get it trimmed in leather if you prefer the feel of cow. So it can be good for the environment on the outside, but it's also for the passengers on the inside too. A new air quality monitor helps to filter out harmful PM 2.5 particulates from reaching the cabin, so everyone can breathe just a little bit easier. Prices for the new Discovery start from £53,090. Now that's $4,500 more than the entry point of the outgoing car, but that's because the basic S model has been dropped, with the range starting from the better equipped SE trim, which actually costs less than it did before. To see more videos like this, make sure you like and subscribe the Auto Express channel, and for more information, make sure you head over to autoexpress.co.uk.